Welcome to our Friday demo. I am so excited you could join me tonight. I hope you had a fantastic week, and we'll end it with a fun paint pouring demo. So welcome everyone. But let's see here. We're going to get started in just a second. As you can see by the screen, I've got an announcement to make. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to dive into our paint pouring demo. So let's just see who's here. We've got all kinds of people showing up. Monique is here. Welcome. Monique. Pat is here. Hey, Lynn. Novala. Great to see you. Vern and Libby have just joined. Awesome. We've got Facebook user. Donna, I'm guessing perhaps it's Donna. Carol has joined us as well. Fantastic. So welcome everybody. So, as you can see by the screen, I am going to be having a live, online, 3-day paint pouring workshop. It's called the Paint Pouring Blueprint Workshop, and you're all invited to join me. It's a free workshop. You can come. I'm going to walk you through my 6-step blueprint. I'll talk about exactly what that is in a second, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It starts on May 8th, so a little over a week away, and it's on a Wednesday is when we kick it off at the same time we're meeting right now, 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. That would be 7 o'clock Eastern time and 6 o'clock Central time. Or if you're living outside the country, I have no clue when we're going to be live, but you can figure that out. Just be here at the same time you're here right now. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And let's see here. What do I want to say about this? So, what is the 6-step blueprint? Well, it is really my 6-step system. I've kind of boiled this down to the system I use pretty much every single time I do a paint pour or a painting in pretty much any technique. So I use the same system for it. It lends itself to any different technique you want, really, but it involves quite a few little handouts and tools. I'll walk you through each of the steps in depth during the workshop. The whole point of the workshop is to give you some clarity, maybe clear away some confusion or overwhelm about this whole paint pouring process. It can be a pretty daunting process, even though it's relatively simple. There are so many techniques, so many formulas, so many consistencies you can mix your paint up with. There's just a lot of variables, a lot of things to do in just doing one pour painting. So I'm going to walk you through my system. It's only 6 steps, and but those 6 steps include several different things. But you'll have a blueprint to follow, and you can print that out. I have other resources and tools that you can print out that will help you with pretty much whatever technique you want. And you'll be able to access something brand new that I'm working on. It's another handout you can be able to print out called the technique tree. And I won't talk too much about that, but if you want to, if it piques your interest, you can join the workshop and find out all about it. So everything starts on March the 8th, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to be meeting for about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours. We're going to try to keep it around the hour to hour and a half range for each of the days. It's a 3-day workshop. And if you can't make it live, you can watch the replays throughout the course of the workshop. So you can log into, I've got like a course page set up where it has all the links to join the workshop. After the replays are up, you can watch the replays throughout the course of the workshop and that weekend. And there is an upgrade option available if you would like to have lifetime access to the replays. You can just sign up for the free workshop. You'll see that option available after you join. And that option will also be available throughout the workshop if you want to upgrade your workshop experience. You'll also get an extra bonus day, which would be Saturday, for anyone who joins the upgrade version. And we'll do some extra stuff in our bonus day, plus a few more resources. So everything is on the webpage. You can read more about it. You can join. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments, maybe at the end of our demo today, and I'll be happy to answer anything. And by the way, I'm going to throw the link in the comments right now, and you can go check it out. It's over on my website, acrylicpouringacademy.com. And Nelvia, hopefully I said that right, has a question. Is there a cost for the workshop? No, it's a free workshop to attend, but there is an upgrade version available, which is $17 if you want to get lifetime access to the replays, plus the extra bonus day and some extra resources. It's totally optional though. Everything you need is in the workshop. So you don't have to upgrade. It's just a little extra bonus if you're interested. And I'll also be talking to you about the Pouring Studio membership during the workshop. That's my paint pouring membership that has been closed for quite some time. Some of you might know about that. I have a lot of my members are on this live right now. And by the way, for my members, no need to sign up for anything. You'll automatically get the links and you automatically get the upgrade package. So you're all set. I sent out an email a little while ago to you about that. So don't worry about anything. You're in. I hope to see you there. A little bit of this will be review for my members. I've only really shared in detail what I'm going to be sharing with you in the workshop with members of the Pouring Studio. So I will be opening my membership at the end of the workshop or during the course of the workshop. So if you like the workshop and you like kind of my way of teaching, my pouring style, maybe you consider joining the membership. But no worries, there's no pressure at all. Everything you're going to need, you'll get a lot of information, a lot of valuable resources and tools in the workshop. So I'm only opening the membership up if you're super interested in proceeding and learning more from me and joining us and my awesome members in the Pouring Studio. But more on that later on. So fantastic, awesome. I'm just going to check and see if there's any thing I missed, any questions that might have come in. And let's see here. Cool. Thanks, Navala. Navala's been answering questions for me. That's awesome. And very cool. Very cool. Okay, no other questions. But if anything pops up, maybe you can ask me at the end of our demo, and I will be happy to answer anything about the workshop or the demo or anything else at the end there. So, all right. So anyway, I'm going to take this off the screen, and I'll post the link again. Just a second. I'll post the link again at the end because it will get kind of lost in the comments. And I'd love to see you at the workshop. I'll be talking about it a lot more, so get ready for that. So anyway, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So let me get rid of this banner here, and let's talk about our demo. We're going to be doing something very fun. It's a technique I haven't done in a long time, and it is going to be using a glue-based pouring medium, glue and paint, and I'm going to be putting some silicone in the colors and then torching them to bring up these beautiful silicone cells. And so I'll talk all about that. I'll show you the colors, show you what the additive I'll be adding. It's not really silicone, but it's very, very close. I prefer it to silicone. So let's dive right in. And so I'm going to be working on a 16 by 20. And it's going to be a multi-flip cup pour. So that technique is multiple flip cups. I'm going to be flipping 3 cups over on my 16 by 20. I've got just a simple 5-color palette actually, and I'll put some silicone in a few of the colors, and we'll be torching them, all kinds of fun. So let's dive over, and I'm going to flip the camera and walk you through all of the colors that I have here. I got to arrange these, and I'll show you everything we've got. Okay, so let's dive in. And here we go. So I'm going to go right here, So here's my crooked 16 by 20. And so we have 3 colors, and I've created an extra color, and we have some white right here. So let's just talk about the colors quick. It's a pretty simple color palette. It's one of my favorites, and I forgot to mention the painting behind me is the same color palette. We did this, I don't think it was last week, but the week before perhaps, or 2 weeks ago. I'm just kind of using the same color palette. I really enjoy this one, and it works good for a flip cup type painting that has a silicone and cells and all that stuff. So I've got one of my favorite colors, Brilliant Blue by Liquitex Basics here. This is a permanent blue violet by Amsterdam. It's a beautiful purple color, deep purple. I've got gold from Liquitex Basics right here. And this color is a beautiful, very soft lilac color that I mixed up. And the way I mixed this up is I used Liquitex Basics Titanium White. That's about 90%. No, it's more like 98% of the color. And I mixed that up, I added water, got it just the way I like it. Then I took and put a few drops, just small drops of each of the blue and the purple in here, mixed it up. I wanted kind of a very light lilac color that was using these same colors, kind of a blue-violet in between the two. And so it's probably difficult to see exactly, it's a very subtle color, but it's I wanted something that was not stark white. I do have stark white right here, and you can probably see the difference between the white, which is very, very white, and this very light kind of lilac color. So those are the colors we're going to be using. The ratio, or the formula I used, is very simple. It's 2 parts glue, and I'll show you the glues I use. I use the Elmer's school glue for this one. You could use the Elmer's glue wall. I've got a gallon of both of these. I just have a lot of the school glue. I use this. They both work. They're both work really well. I can't really find a big difference between the two. Elmer's glue wall is a little higher quality. It's a little more expensive, but either of them works really good for me. So that's the pouring medium that we're using, is just regular old glue, no Floetrol, nothing else. So 2 parts glue, 1 part paint, and then water to get this up to the proper consistency. And the consistency I like for this particular technique is my #1 consistency, which is, I call it a mound on a mound. It's the thickest consistency that I like to use. And I have #1 through 5. 1 is the thickest, 5 is the thinnest. This is #1, and I'll talk way more about the consistencies in our workshop that's coming up. But it's basically a mound and a mound. So a smallish mound that kind of folds over on itself when you drizzle it off your stir stick. And maybe I'll show you that before we get going. But that's pretty much it. So it's just 2 parts glue, 1 part paint, a little bit of water, different amounts in all the paints because they all take a little bit different quantities to get them to the same consistency. This is just white, and this is just regular titanium white and the glue in there. So this is going to be a base coat. I'm going to be putting my silicone, which is, I like to use this coconut oil. It's coconut milk anti-breakage serum. I've used many different silicones. This is probably my favorite. It's by OGX. You can get it at the grocery store. You can get it at Target or Walmart, or online at Amazon. They have it at a lot of places. There are a few different versions of this. So what you want to look for on the back, look at the incredibly tiny ingredients. The #1 ingredient should be dimethicone. Dimethicone is a version of silicone used in beauty products. So it is technically a silicone type product, but technically it's called dimethicone. But this works really well for me. It's much easier, I find, to clean up once you're done. It doesn't leave that really oily residue on your canvas. So I just really like this. This is pretty much the only silicone additive I use anymore, and I use it very, very rarely. I really use it only with this particular technique. I hardly ever use it when I'm using Floetrol for my other any other techniques. Sometimes I'll use it for swipes with Floetrol, but that's pretty much it. So I use it pretty much exclusively for this glue-based technique, or a similar glue-based technique like this. So what I like to do is put some of that in a little tiny needle tip bottle like this. We're only going to be adding a couple of drops to a couple of our colors. You don't need to add it to all of them. I will not be adding it to the white. That's going to be our base coat, and I'll explain that in a minute when we get to that point. But let's go ahead and add our coconut oil, mix it in, and then we can really get going. I've got 3 cups right here that I'm going to layer. I'm going to be using about 6 ounces of paint in each of these cups. Now for this particular technique, I'm going to be using more paint than I normally would for a flip cup. For 16 by 20, I normally would use about 13 ounces of paint, but for this technique where I'm going to be torching and want cells, I'm using more paint just because I want to be able to tilt this quicker and easier, and so my cells don't get really distorted. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we get into the demo. So let me clear this away. And before we dive in too far, I have to spritz the back of my canvas. I keep forgetting to do this before the demo. I'm just using some water in a squirt bottle, just squirting the back just to tighten up my canvas. And I don't dry it or anything. It's going to be nice and taut. I just pour right on top of it, so no need to dry anything. So let me show you the consistency here. I'm going to show you with the blue. I think it's probably the easiest. And let me flip my camera. I'll show you in the close-up camera, or closer upper camera. So here we go. So here's my brilliant blue. So if you lift up a bunch of paint on your stir stick and let it dribble in, that's the mound on a mound that I like. So that's the thickest consistency that I use. This actually sometimes it looks a slight bit different with the glue versus the Floetrol, but the feel is also kind of what I'm going for, and this is the feel that I want. So hopefully that helps. We'll talk more about consistencies in the workshop if you choose to join us. So let me flip back here. And I'm going to add some silicone, or the coconut oil. So I have my little dropper bottle. I'm going to add a couple of drops, 3 drops in my blue, gold, and purple. And shoot, I was not going to do the, I'm just going to put them in all. Why not? So I put 3 drops in each color, and I'm going to just mix this up. I don't want to give it a really, really heavy-duty mix, just kind of a gentle mix. And that's all you really need to do. I want to get the drops incorporated in the paint. And I need give that a gentle mix. Now you could add the coconut oil to all the colors minus the base coat, or just a couple colors. It really is up to you. I've done it many times both ways. I typically add it to the majority of the colors, actually, I'd say. But, whoa, almost dumped that over. That would have been terrible. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to layer our cups first. And then I will spread a base coat, and we want to put a base coat on the canvas. It's actually optional. You don't have to, but if you do a flip cup on a bare canvas, there is a possibility that the silicone, when you torch, it can actually show bare canvas spots because the silicone is right on the canvas. That's why I like to put a base coat down. It doesn't need to be a thick base coat. It can be a thin one, but it gives you a barrier between the raw canvas and the silicone, and it will prevent those raw canvas spots from showing up. That's a big problem that a lot of newer painters run into, and that's the reason you're seeing those kind of bare canvas spots. The silicone is showing up. It's right against your canvas. So let's fill some cups. I'm going to fill these all a little bit differently. Yeah, I haven't really planned anything. I'm just kind of going with gut instinct here. I kind of want each color in all the cups, but maybe different orders. Maybe I'll put a little bit of white in. I want to add just a little bit of the white too, because the white will blend with the other colors and create lighter shades. Maybe a little gold. And I'll finish with maybe the purple. So there's one cup. I'll move that over here. And let's start with the, oops, I gotta move that. I gotta be careful. I'm gonna dump something over. So I'm gonna start, ooh, that was a lot. I'm gonna start with a little white, then I'm gonna shoot a little gold, maybe a high pour in there. You can layer multiple ways. That was a high pour. So the gold is kind of mixing in with the white. Then I'm gonna put some purple in. Maybe some of our lavender or light lavender color. Blue. And maybe a little white. I've got to, what do I want last? Maybe a little more purple. That looks okay. And third one, I'm going to start with a different color this time. I'm going to need my sticks. So I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to go to the lavender next. Put in some gold. Maybe a little white on the gold. So I'm just using all the colors, but I'm just varying them up just so they look different when I pull the cups. I don't like to use the same exact colors for all the same exact layers. I just like to have variety. And what's next? What's next? I think I'm at the end of my blue. So I mixed up just about enough paint to fill all my cups. Let's put the rest of our gold in. And the rest of our pretty lavender color. And we're almost there. We have to just add a little more white. And that should do it. So we've got our 3 cups layered and they're ready to go. I'm going to move these out of the way. And let's go ahead and put our base coat on. So I'm just going to pour the rest of my white out. And Carla's got a good question. She's asking, does it make a difference how much you mix the silicone in? It does. The more you mix it, the more you're breaking up those silicone drops. So the smaller your cells can be when you torch them. So I like to do a gentle mix. But I've also mixed, mixed them in plenty good and still gotten really nice cells. So I'd like to just do a gentle mix. There's a big debate about that, actually. It's one of the big topics of using silicone. So just give them like a smallish mix or a gentle mix, and you should be fine. There's no hard and fast rules, though. And plus, it also kind of depends on the silicone you're using. I think some silicones tend to break down a little easier, or separate a little easier. But it's not a huge thing to be concerned with, in my opinion, anyway. There we go. We're almost there with our base coat. The base coat also, aside from kind of being a protective layer for the silicone, it helps the paint slide around easier, which is important because I'm going to be tilting this relatively quickly to avoid overstretching the cells. So we've got it. So good question, Carla. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip our cups. And I was gonna flip them the old-fashioned way. I'll go ahead and do it just the old-fashioned way. So I like to grab it from underneath, hold it like this in my hand, and give it just a plop. And I'm putting it towards the top third of the canvas. I'm gonna be pulling it towards me to pull the paint kind of across the canvas. Let's put this one right here. Put this one right here. That's pretty good. I haven't done that in a long time. And I'll just let that sit there for just a second. So one thing I didn't do is I didn't torch my base coat, mostly because I forgot about it. But we're going to be torching our paint to bring up the cells. And I have my torch right here. And but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll give you kind of a close-up. And so let's go ahead and pull our cups. So let's start with this one. I'm going to pull just away, pull back and away. And actually, I'll flip the camera. You can get a better view of the cup pull. So here we go. So I'm just going to pull it away and then back. And then I'll just let the cup sit out, hang out right there. Pull this one away and back. And then finally this third cup. Got a lot of purple on top. That's cool. So you can kind of tap out your cups if you want to. It's just extra, and we're getting cells happening already, which is cool, which is fine. But that's not quite the cells we're looking for, and you'll see the difference. But there we go. We got cells here. This is a great big silicone cell. So, all right, that looks pretty good. So at this stage, I'm going to just kind of expand the paint puddle just a little bit. I'll flip you back to the top camera. So there we go. Now at this stage, if you wanted to, you could do some lip drags and and create some interest. I don't think I'm going to do that in this one, just because the cells themselves are really going to be the main focus. And if you do lip drags and things, that's one of the ways you create those worms in your silicone cells, and I'm sure we'll get a couple, but I'll point that out if I see them. So let's go ahead and get this thing tilted. I like to tilt over at least half the canvas first before I do any torching. So, and we're already getting tons of cells, so I've got to kind of hurry up here. So I'm going to go up here and tilt over this corner first. And this one. Wow, the cells are just popping up all over the place. I think I'm going to tilt over the whole canvas before I torch, because I'm sure to overstretch if I don't. There we go. So we've got a ton of stuff happening already. I haven't done anything yet, and that is the coconut oil just doing its thing in the glue mixture. And I love the shape of these cells. The glue and coconut oil cells, they're just so pretty. You just can't get the same effect with the Floetrol and coconut oil or silicone. So there, I really don't have to do anything. It's pretty much done it all by itself. Normally that doesn't happen, but I will show you a little bit of torching, because that's kind of half the point here. So what we're going to do, I have my torch, and you can see I'm going to just shoot it out here. It's about medium. The flame is about medium, at the medium level. And I'm going to hold it high with the flame on and come down very gently. And as soon as I see some activation, I'm going to pull the flame away. So I'll try it here. So I see some very small little specks, and those are cells that are going to continue to grow. So let me flip the camera. I'll see if I can get you a close up. And so I'll try it again. And then Carla's got a good question. Does the glue help keep the shape of the cells? Yes, absolutely. The glue works wonderful for this particular technique. And it's these glue cells are really awesome. So I'm going to show you. Good question. And Lynn's asking, is the base coat the same? Yes, the base coat is exactly the same. 2 parts glue, 1 part white. I used just the titanium white. So I have my torch right here. I'm holding it up, and I'm going to just drop it down. And you can see some of those spots, and those are going to grow into cells. And you can see them starting right in here. But these are going to look a little different than these kind of more natural cells we have. And I don't think I'm going to do much more than that because it did it all by itself. It's pretty awesome. So I'm going to flip this back here. And I'll go back to the top view. I don't think I need to do any more. So I wasn't expecting to get all of these cells just happening all by themselves. It's actually a little unusual. because normally you'll get kind of more fields of color, kind of like what we had here, but then you torch and the cells you can bring the cells up. But in this case, we just got tons of cells, did it all by itself. I'm not complaining. It's very cool. And that's that. So someone's asking, Donna perhaps is asking, how much silicone did I put in? Well, just in case you missed it, I used the coconut milk serum, so it was not exactly silicone. This is a dimethicone based product, but I put in 3 little drops using my little bottle, and they were, little drops. So 3 little drops in all the colors except the white, which was the base coat. And we also mixed white into the cups as well. But so 3 little drops in all the colors, and that's about it. And then that gentle mix. So I didn't over mix it, just a gentle mix, maybe 4 or 5 turns or something like that. And that's all. So I'll zoom in a little bit and I'll give you a little close-up. This went much quicker than I thought. But again, this is kind of, I don't want to say beginner's luck because I've done these many times, but I haven't done it in a long, long time. So I guess it's, I don't know what to say, but I'm really happy with it. So what you can see, I'll point this out. I'll zoom in and point it out, some of this stuff. And one thing about this is I'm using the cup hooks and it likes to stick because there's a lot of glue in there. So if you look right here, we've got these beautiful cells enlacing kind of throughout the whole painting. And like this corner is very cool. So we've got all this cool stuff happening. But then you can see kind of the barrier line between the 2 cups right in here. There's one kind of right down here. Right here is kind of like a worm, or the caterpillar they call it. And that happens when you kind of agitate the paint. So we had those 2 cups and those 2 paint puddles kind of merged together. When that happens, or you do a lip drag, or you agitate the paint, that is an area where those caterpillar type cells will want to form. And I'm not exactly sure why, because probably has something to do with your, moving the silicone in a certain way. But just be aware that whenever you do a lip drag, or you'll have those barrier lines, that's kind of where those caterpillar shaped cells will want to show up. So that is our flip cup. I really like this part right here. All right, so let me go back here. And see if there are any questions that you might have about the technique or the workshop or anything else. And let's see here, I'm going to go back up here just to see if I missed anything. And Anne is asking a good question. She said the side camera is angled. How far in inches do you have the flame when you light it, when you're bringing it down about 4 or 5 inches? I have it like a couple of feet up, so this is good. I'm on the right camera. So I'll be holding the torch up here when I light it, and then I'll bring it down to maybe about here. So it's still about maybe 6 to 8 inches above the canvas, and then I'll bring it back up. So you want to keep it up high. You don't want to start it right down here. You're going to scorch your paint. And it just takes a little bit of heat to ignite those cells and bring up all the cool stuff. So definitely start high. Just lower it a little bit with the flame on until you see there's little sparks or little specks of color, and then lift your torch back up. So that's a great question. And let's see here, let me go back down. And Jen Art is asking, which department do you find the coconut oil in? That'd be the beauty section where the hair products, shampoo, and things like that are. And remember to look for that dimethicone on the ingredients label. And Kathy is asking a question, off-topic question, how long do you let the paint dry before resining? How long do you let the resin until the resin is cured? I usually let the paintings dry maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some people say months. For me they dry relatively quickly, but I'm in a warmer climate, so I'd say 2-3 weeks. If you're in a cooler climate, extend that by a couple weeks. The resin should be cured. It depends on the resin really that you're using. Typically these art resins will cure in about a couple of days, I think. So it's not a quick process though. So you'll have to give it a little bit of time. So let's see here. And Chris is asking, is the base coat just glue mix? Yeah, the base is just the same stuff. So 2 parts glue, 1 part of white paint. I used titanium white, and but I did put white paint in there. I don't think you'd want to use just glue. And then you have to, add a little water to get it to the right consistency. And Carla's asking, do some colors work better than others? I'm sure they do. For techniques like this, what I find works best is definitely have, you want to have contrast in your painting. So you definitely want to have a range of values. Some very light values like white or that very light lilac color. Some very dark values like our purple. The blue is kind of in the middle. So you definitely want a range of values. That allows all the cool stuff to show up. If you used a lot of colors that are very similar in value, the value being the lightness or darkness of the color, you might have all this awesome lacing and all this cool stuff, but you won't be able to really see it because the darker color is floating on top of a light color. If they're all the same value or very close in value, it all kind of blends together. So you definitely want a lot of contrast with paintings like this, just to make them pop. Good question. And someone's asking about the coconut oil and getting it on my Amazon page. You sure can. I'll put the link in the chat for you. But you can go, I have it on my Amazon page if you want to go check it out. On Amazon, you can find it there. If it's in stock, you never know. But good question, or a great comment, I mean. And I'm guessing this is Donna, maybe. Would you say the focal point is white in the center on this painting? Yeah, the focal point of this one, there could be a couple. This is more of a very abstract composition. I'll flip back and I'll show you. But here I'm gonna just pop in the link for the workshop again if you're interested in that, and then let me go over, I'll get my link to my Amazon page, and you can check that out if you want to. And let me just put this in here. So that will take you over to my Amazon shop, and if you click on, what is it called? So if I'm reviewing lots of different products on there, and I've started to do videos of some things, but if you just click on the idea lists, it's kind of right under my picture, there's idea lists. That'll take you to all the lists of acrylic pouring products, and you should be able to find the silicone. Let me find out where exactly I put it. It's probably in acrylic pouring supplies. Yes, it's under acrylic pouring supplies. And let me just grab this actually. If you want to just go look at the, that's a crazy huge link. Never mind. Sorry, everyone. I just need to delete that. That's like the wrong thing. But if you go to my page, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. But let me do one more thing here, really fast. And bear with me a moment. Okay, so this link right here that I'm putting in the comments, this short one, that should take you right to the coconut serum on Amazon, and you can check it out. I think, let me see how much it is. It's, is it in stock? Let me see. It is in stock. Currently, it is $6.64. So that should get you right to that particular product. So anyway, let me flip back over here, and we'll look at what I think would maybe be the focal point. So for me, like, where is the top? I've zoomed in. So for me, I'd say the focal point would be kind of anywhere in this area, this kind of central area, but there's a lot going on. So there could be multiple focal points. Sometimes there are more than one focal point in a painting. A lot of artists build in maybe 2 or 3 focal points. They'll have a main one, like a secondary and a tertiary, focal point. For me, I'd say it's somewhere in here. This big white dot, not ideally placed right in the center of the canvas there, but that's probably would be one of them. So, but sometimes, I mean, with fluid art, paint pouring, the paint does a lot of the deciding for you. So you have kind of limited control over what the focal point might be and what it isn't. So that's just kind of the way fluid art works. All right. And someone is asking, is there a link to share the upcoming demos you will be doing? I have a couple of artist friends that I'd like to get interested in this technique. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. I usually share these links on my Facebook group, Acrylic Pouring Club. That if you're a member of the Acrylic Pouring Club, I'm guessing you might be. I share them in there. But I'm trying to think of, but we meet every Friday. But you could also go to my YouTube channel, Broadcast in Acrylic Pouring. You'll see the lives there. I do a live every Friday. So they'll be on my YouTube channel if you search for that. And those should be pretty easy to find. And anyone can watch those. So great question, and thanks for recommending me. All right. Okay, so I guess I don't see any other questions at the moment. So fantastic. Well, I'm going to throw in this link one more time, just in case you haven't seen it yet or missed it. This is the link to go join the 3-day workshop that I'm going to be hosting March 8th, Wednesday, March 8th. The 3-day paint pouring blueprint workshop. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'll be talking about it all week long. And so if you miss this, just keep looking, and I'm sure you'll get sick of hearing about the workshop. So thank you so much, everyone. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend, and thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.